I know you guys love your NPCs, but if I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen?
Right, like he eliminated the NPC, meaning there's none left. I don't know where you're going with this, but like...
I believe that one of our main cast here in the amazing digital circus is an NPC. Figuring out exactly who that is will show us who the true villain is in the amazing digital circus.
No! Hey everyone, it's your friend Thinknoodles, and welcome back to Think Reacts, where today we're reacting to a video that we all knew would be coming, the film theory on Amazing Digital Circus episode 2. It's been out for only 2 weeks and they've already got a video out as of yesterday. The Amazing Digital Circus is not what you think. Well, that much is obvious, right? But fans have been dying to know, is JAX'S just an NPC? What's the deal with Caine? And why is everyone in Candyland? Today we cover all of that and discover JAX'S master plan. Now, I've seen this theory before from other YouTubers. I haven't watched any of their videos on it because I was waiting for this. I'm not sure I buy into that theory yet, but we'll see if they can change my mind here. This is, by the way, episode 1, the pilot, right? This is the end.
One of these characters in the amazing digital circus is an AI imposter, an NPC that somehow slipped through the cracks and is now living amongst the human cast of the circus without anyone noticing. And the worst part of it all, they are the true villain of the show, the real monster torturing the rest of the cast for their own amusement.
So, okay, all right, so just real quick, first of all, I'm gonna pause this video quite a few times and talk about it, and if you're like, no, stop talking, just watch the video, go watch the original. I'll put the original in the description so you guys can check it out without me annoying you. But yeah, that's what I do with my reactions. Now, when they said they, automatically made me think Zooble because they didn't choose a gender. And also, if you remember, Zooble never wants anything to do with any of the adventures and never really participates in them. I mean, they ended up in one, in the first one, and in the second one, they were completely absent. But maybe not. I think they're talking about JAX'S.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film.
Nice, I like
show
that.
that wants you to pop that subscribe button like a crocodile-shaped balloon.
Already did.
Finally, after 6 months, we've gotten the return of the wacky world and awesome adventures of the amazing digital circus.
Yep.
And man, episode 2 reveals so much about these characters, this series, and just how this world operates.
Yeah.
So, our entire existence here is just LARPing.
It's like the Ren Fair. In this latest episode, Caine sends the gang to a new level called the Candy Canyon Kingdom, where they fight on candy war rigs, Mad Max style.
What time period is this supposed to be again?
I had the same question,
right,
Pomni, during this quest. Pomni
but I mean,
and
it's
a Candy
quest,
Crocodile
so
Dundee NPC named Gummy Goo both fall out of bounds into what looks like a developer room. Here, Gummy Goo discovers a copy of himself, lifeless and stuck in a default A pose. I guess the T pose wasn't submissive and agreeable enough, and goes through an existential crisis after realizing that he's not actually real.
Where's Mum? I can't even remember her face. Did she ever have a face?
And we got all this
Pomni
in the first time I watched it, right?
Gummy Goo to live with the rest of the castmates in the digital circus to find some purpose. But after the gang finishes the adventure, Caine seemingly deletes Gummy Goo, much to Pomni's horror.
Looks like one of these guys made it through.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
This episode was dense, and we learned a lot about how the circus works, and also more about each of the main characters. For example, apparently the cast can remember elements from their past lives. It's just their names that have been completely forgotten. We also learned that maybe, just maybe, the AI within this computer game isn't actually that different from the human characters that get sucked into it. Yeah, this was a major theme for the episode. There was a whole multi-minute long conversation dedicated to the subject, and it got me wondering, well, what if there isn't a difference? And what if the series is really going to drive that home with a twist reveal down the road? That's right, friends. I believe that one of our main cast here in the amazing digital circus is an NPC.
Based on the title, it's
AI
JAX'S,
created by Caine, who has somehow wormed their way into the circus and is now living amongst the human cast without anyone noticing. And figuring out exactly who that is will show us who the true villain is in the amazing digital circus. Prepare yourself for an episode that's 57 times more immersive, friends. We're diving in. So why would I claim that there's an NPC amongst all of the castmates here in the amazing digital circus? Well, not to bury the lead, but Caine heavily implies that an NPC has come into the circus before. At the end of episode 2, when Caine pops Gummy Goo like a balloon, he explains that he did so because Gummy Goo was an NPC.
They couldn't tell them apart.
I know you guys love your NPCs, but if I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen?
That could happen.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, he eliminated the NPC, NPC, meaning there's none left. I don't know where you're going with this, but like he eliminates the NPCs because he's worried about what happened the last time that he forgot about an NPC, right? He doesn't know what could happen because things went crazy and he probably figured it out and eliminated that NPC, and they're all humans. JAX'S himself, I'm going with JAX'S again, says like, hey, yeah, keep pulling in that thing just like we all did. He said we. Okay. AIs can't lie, can they?
A couple of implications.
Okay.
Maybe Kane accidentally deleted a human castmate before, or
No.
maybe one of these humans
I don't think
is
that's what I meant.
actually an NPC. Well, the latter seems much more likely because it doesn't seem like Kane can delete
Yeah, right,
humans.
exactly.
When
I don't think he
characters
can.
like Kaufmo abstract, Kane doesn't delete them despite
Right, he
that
puts
being
them in
an
that
easier
room.
solution. Instead, he just throws them down into the cellar. No,
The
more
other ones,
likely,
yeah.
an NPC has made it back to the circus before, and Kane just can't remember who is who anymore. That seems like an awfully big Chekhov's gun to hang on the wall and never go off. And this isn't even the only piece of evidence pointing towards a human character actually being an NPC.
Okay.
Especially
Let's see.
in episode 2, there was a lot of emphasis put on the concept of AI and just how
Yes.
advanced they are. First
sure.
off, while trying to
I agree.
entice Zooble to join in on the adventure in
Yeah,
the Candy
but
Canyon
they didn't want to.
Kingdom, Kane tells her that.
Her, bro, whoa, you just lost all credibility. Zooble's not female. Zooble is, by Gooseworks, the animator, non-binary, doesn't have a gender, is not male, not female, just is, they. I mean, look, right here on the wiki. Human, anthropomorphic, mix and match toy, age 22 and a half. I don't know how they got that. Gender, Zooble, not her, not him, not he, she, just they. Any pronouns. I guess he could go with any pronouns, so she, but I don't think so. They do their middle right socket. They had a turquoise moon. You gotta get this right. Okay, sorry. This is just one thing that I really know about these characters.
In the Candy Canyon Kingdom, Kane tells her that.
It's a
I'm
little
testing
bit.
out a new AI in this one. It should
Okay.
be 57 times more immersive.
This
Okay.
shows us that Kane is working on making his NPC characters more advanced,
Okay.
at creating more realistic, human-like AI.
to make
is
it
a
so the humans
priority
enjoy
for this
themselves
computer
more,
system.
right?
And elsewhere in the episode, we see this to be true. The AI of the
Well,
NPCs
obviously,
we
yeah,
see in this
Gummy
new
Goo
level
starts
is
to really-
far and away more advanced than what we see in episode 1. First off, Princess Lou of the
Yeah, she
Candy
sees
Kingdom
Kane as
welcomes the
God.
cast as brave knights sent by God to help the
Yeah,
kingdom
God,
in their
yeah.
time of need. As you
Right.
can see from that stained glass window,
Kane,
the God
yeah.
here is clearly Kane.
Right.
Therefore, these AI are advanced enough to understand that Kane created
creator.
them and make their own religion around that. Exactly how humans do in the real world. But
yeah, okay,
more
okay,
prominently
okay,
than that,
yeah.
the themes of this episode really take a dive into what separates humanity from AI, if
Yep.
anything at all. One of the biggest moments here was Gummy Goo's
Right.
internal existential
And he has
crisis
these
after
memories that
falling
don't
below
quite
the map,
exist,
where
and-
he realizes that
Yeah.
nothing in his life is really real. His friends, his mom, even himself, none of them are actually
Doesn't even know his mom
real
looks like.
people.
I don't matter in the slightest. I'm nothing. My life, my memories, my friends. It's all fake.
First off, this shows us that the AI of the NPCs here in the digital circus
They have
is advanced enough to
feelings
become
and
self-aware.
self-aware,
Gummy Goo
exactly.
absolutely understands that he isn't real. It's also worth noting that Gummy Goo doesn't shut down or get fried or abstract.
Right,
He just
it's
becomes a
true.
bit of a sad boy once he realizes his situation, exactly the same way humans do when they have their own existential crises in the real world. Been
Okay.
there, done that, my man. So the AI is even sturdy enough to handle that sort of shock to the system.
Right,
And the
57
thing that
times
pulls
more
Gummy
immersive.
Goo out of this depression, it's Pomni and her
A
empathy.
human.
She lets Gummy Goo know that she understands how he's feeling, and that even people who come from her world, the real world, have these thoughts too. And
Right.
when she invites Gummy Goo to come back to the circus with the cast, Gummy Goo asks,
Would I even belong?
I'm sure you wouldn't belong any less than me.
Pomni is straight up telling Gummy Goo that it doesn't matter if he's real or not.
Right.
They are the same. At the very least, this
In a
is
way, she
driving
said
home
similar,
the theme
not
that the
the same,
AI
but
in this
yeah.
game and its human characters aren't actually so different. And combined with everything else we've talked
because they're
about, the
digital
show is
representations of an
absolutely seeding the
intelligence, yeah.
possibility that one of the human characters is not what they seem. And so now that begs the question, who is it? Which one of
Well,
them
it's
is an
JAX'S
NPC?
based on the
Right
title
off
of the
bat,
video.
We can likely eliminate Zooble and Gangle. We haven't
Okay.
really had a chance to dig into their characters yet, and the show seems more interested in exploring them as comic relief than big twists. What about Kinger?
guess,
He's
but-
supposedly been there
But
the
do you
longest.
think so, though? Like, just back to Zooble, just real quick. Like, I think there is something going to be special about Zooble because Zooble doesn't ever want to participate and was completely and conspicuously absent in episode 2. did not take part at all. They went off on the side, and you didn't even realize, or at least I didn't realize, that they weren't a part of it until we'd been through the entire adventure, and I was like, oh, wow. Zooble wasn't even there. What were they doing that whole time?
And is definitely
I don't
the
think
one
it's
that
comic
seems the
relief.
most glitchy, for
Yes,
the lack of a
Gangle,
better term.
okay,
Again,
yeah.
I'm not so convinced. Similar to
Right.
Zooble and Gangle, he's being positioned more as a side character, and one
Yep.
that really reflects both the comedy and tragedy of the situation the humans are trapped in. What's more, there's a lot of evidence pointing to Kinger being a QA developer who got sucked into the game. In the pilot, he asks,
Did someone say something about an insect collection?
and again, when he
Yeah.
sees the gloinks, he wonders.
An insect collection?
And then in the
Oh.
Candy Kingdom in episode 2, he points out,
They've even got little
Bugs.
candy bugs here. It's
Bugs,
so
I
beautiful.
get it.
this interest in insects would make sense if he was
Bugs.
a bug tester in his past
Yeah,
human life.
okay,
So
all
it
right.
wouldn't make sense for him to also be
I
an
take-
NPC.
I-
That leaves us with
I
just
got it.
Ragatha and Jax. At
I
first
know you're going
glance,
for Jax,
Ragatha
the
does
title.
seem like a good candidate, despite
Why?
telling Pomni that there were no hard feelings for leaving her to the abstracted Kaufmo. If someone ever says that in a series like this, that means there are definitely hard feelings. So maybe
Okay.
she's being set up here
Maybe
as
she's
a
super
secret
nice.
antagonistic AI down the line. But at the same
think so.
time, they're also really positioning her as a parallel to Pomni. She's trying to help Pomni fit in and feel better in exactly the same way that Pomni was trying with Gummy Goo. Thematically, it makes more sense for Ragatha to fall into the mentor archetype, showing Pomni the ropes, before
Yeah. And she
Ragatha
wants to be
inevitably
that.
falls
Even in the
to
beginning,
the mentor
even of the
occupational
second
hazard
episode.
trope, showing Pomni the dark fate that she herself could face. So no, I don't believe that they're setting
It's
Ragatha
not
up
Jax
to be
either.
an
I
AI,
don't
which
believe
leaves
this.
us
Come on.
with Jax. And oh man,
Why does there
it
have to
could
be one?
definitely be Jax.
Why does there
And
have to
there's
be
a
one? Maybe there
surprising
isn't
amount of
one.
evidence pointing towards it. First of all, Jax being an NPC would make a lot of his quirks suddenly make a lot more sense. For example, Jax is the only character who's able to keep his head steady while driving a truck over the rocky road. Something that would probably be
Maybe
much
that's just
easier
an
for a computer
animation
program or an AI to do rather than a human. Additionally, gravity doesn't seem to affect him in the same way as the others. Notice that during the Mad Max truck chase sequence, characters like Pomni are thrown around by the momentum of the trucks. She has to hold on to prevent herself from being flung off the vehicles. But Jax, he stands upright as the truck plummets vertically into the
Because-
chocolate river. This
All
is
right.
much more similar to the Gator NPC Max, who is able to pull himself back up onto the bandit's truck
No.
while similarly ignoring the laws of physics.
I don't think so, because he's actually like pulling. Like if he were able to do that, he could like skate up it on the side or something. Like he's actually obeying the laws of physics here. I mean, like as far as they go in a game, I feel like Jax just doesn't
Jax is
care.
acting more like an NPC here than the human
No, he just
cast.
doesn't
now,
care.
Obviously, these moments are played for comedic effect, but
Yeah.
they stood out to me either way. Do you want some more serious examples? Well,
Yeah.
for one, Jax is incredibly good at getting into places that he shouldn't. In the pilot, Jax reveals that he has keys to everywhere.
Okay,
all
that's
the other
fair,
rooms
but
in the
again,
circus.
like, he just-
Additionally, he is able
there's-
to
he
very
knows there's no
easily steal the key to
consequences.
the kingdom walls in episode 2. To me, this sounds a lot like Jax has sort of administrator access to the circus and its connected levels. Like he's part of the computer system more so than the other
Or
cast.
he's a very good
and
thief.
another big thing here, he's the only one of the main cast that seems
Okay.
to break the fourth wall. It's kind of a blink and you miss it moment, but in the first episode, Jax looks straight at the camera, straight at us. Though this could be played off as us being in the point of view of Ragatha, who immediately asks,
Why are you looking at
Yeah,
me
see,
like
looking
that?
at her.
still a weird moment. And in
He-
episode
he-
2,
they-
he
she
does it
literally
again,
says he was looking at
shrugging
her.
directly at the viewer. The
Or
only other
the
character
person
we've
behind
seen
us.
act similarly is another NPC, Kane, when he speaks directly to the audience at the beginning of the pilot.
My name is Kane. I'm your ringmaster.
What's more, Jax is also very interested in food, which is something we've only seen from NPCs and AI in the digital circus.
they all
this was
eat.
actually pointed out by Trueful Hero over on our subreddit, but Jax is the only one of the main castmates to show any real sign of hunger or even interest in food.
Oh no.
But why would
fake
an
news,
AI
Google.
be hungry? Right?
Anyway, you guys want to go get something to eat? You know, I am pretty hungry.
You didn't even do anything.
So what? I can still be hungry.
Why is this significant? Well, according to Kinger, the humans in the digital world have no need to
Yeah.
eat, drink, or sleep.
Well, not really, because we don't need to eat, drink, or sleep in this digital world.
Right,
So the
see?
digital food here only gives off the virtual sensation of eating without any of the nutritional benefits.
However,
But
NPCs
it gives you a
do
sensation
seem
of
to need
eating,
food. Like
see?
in episode 2, the crocodile bandits say that
This much syrup would save hundreds of people.
this implies that foods like syrup can help NPCs, and this isn't even the
But
only
only
time we
that's
see
their
NPCs
programming.
eating or
They only
talking
stole
about
that.
food. In episode 1, Bubble eats the angel food cake.
You parasites!
The glowing queen eats
That's
Zooble,
funny.
and the fudge speaks about eating many of the candy townsfolk.
Yeah,
we
because-
even see Kane and Bubble in a restaurant during the pilot, though it doesn't look like their food has arrived yet. Additionally, though we do see the human characters at a table set with food during the Last Supper scene in the pilot, we don't see any of them eating. And this was given to them
even
as a
JAX'S
reward by Kane, an AI who would see food as essential. So JAX craving food, unlike any of the other human characters we've seen so far, is another tell that he's an AI. But wait, I hear you saying. Doesn't the show's official synopsis say that
Yeah,
the amazing
5
digital
other humans.
circus is about
Exactly.
6 humans subjected to the whims
Exactly.
of wacky AI? And
Right.
yes, that is correct. However, there are ways to explain this. Firstly, it could just be a marketing misdirect. I mean, you don't want to reveal your big twist in the synopsis you released before the first episode. But even still, assuming that the synopsis is correct, it can still work. That 6th human could be Kaufmo the clown. Yeah,
No, he
while
dead,
we
he
don't
didn't
see
show
him
up.
Before he abstracts, he still is present in the
Oh,
first
this is a
episode of the
stretch,
series.
but he's not
and
really
his
even a
funeral
character
played
in
a
it.
big thematic important part in episode 2. That would
Only
mean
because
that
of
he's
his
still
loss,
in
and
the series
it
and was
gives
still
her something to be
subjected
afraid
to the
of.
whims of this wacky AI, thus making that synopsis still technically correct.
The best kind of correct.
And what's more, this isn't actually the only synopsis of the show that we've gotten so far. Gooseworks had a different one over on her teaser for the series uploaded to her personal YouTube channel.
6 human
and
souls,
this
it
one
says.
describes the circus as a 3D animated pilot about a rogue AI that relentlessly has fun adventures with 6 human souls. Has fun adventures with is an interesting phrase to use here, since Kane never goes on any adventures with the cast. Yes, he makes them, and he pushes the other characters to join in on them, but he never goes on them himself. In both the in-house adventure from the pilot and the Candy Kingdom in episode 2, he just kinda goes off and does his own thing after sending the cast on their way. Do you know who does go on the adventures with the other characters? JAX'S.
Well,
Not only
he's
that,
one
but he's
of them.
excited to. In episode 1, as soon as
'cause it
Tommy
gives him
shows
something-
up, like immediately afterward, he asks.
So, Kane, we having a new adventure today for the newbie, or
Because they do
what?
it every
In
day.
episode 2, he tries to get Zooble to tag along.
Ooh, a new AI. You don't want to mess with the new AI, Zuby?
And his reasoning for all of it?
Wouldn't
I'm
he?
fine with doing whatever,
No.
as long as I get to see funny things happen to people.
Right,
He just
'cause
wants
he just
to
doesn't
mess with them.
care.
Sounds like something a rogue AI who wants to torment the
No,
cast
the
would
rogue
think,
AI is
doesn't it?
Kane.
Again, like rogue AI and torment are weird words to describe Kane and what he does.
No,
right?
it's not.
Listen, I get it. What Kane
He's
is
locked
putting
them in
these
the
characters
game.
through does not necessarily
holds them,
seem like
he
a
won't let
walk
them
in
out of the
park.
game.
But torment? That doesn't track either. And at the very
Does it
least,
not,
we do
though?
know
I
that
mean,
there seems to be
at
some
her.
fun had by
She
these
looks
two characters
tormented.
on the adventures. Ragatha and Kinger both seem excited by the Candy Kingdom castle, and Ragatha instantly likes Princess Lou.
Your kingdom's awesome, by the way. Love the vibe.
I like you already.
Look, Pomni, we're already friends with the princess.
That doesn't sound like someone who's tormented to me. But do you
Or
know who
someone in
does
denial.
torment the cast day
Well,
in
that is
and day
absolutely
out?
true.
Every time we see them,
That is
JAX. He's
creepy.
physically abusive. Like, just to name
It
a
is
few
true, it is
instances.
true.
He steps on Gangle's mask without caring, throws a bowling ball
But see,
at
that's what I
Kinger to
said.
knock him
You
into the
literally said
bowling
it.
player,
Not
pushes
caring.
Gangle over for no reason, and throws
Aw,
Pomni
man.
out of the candy truck without a second thought.
You're making him look really
On top of
bad,
that,
which
he
he
threatens
is,
them
actually.
often. He tells Ragatha that he left a centipede, her worst fear, hidden in her room. Forces Gangle
That
to
is
ram the
true.
syrup tanker, or he'll tell Ragatha about the figurine thing.
I do agree here that JAX does torment everyone. But I don't think that that's what Gooseworks' reference is not to JAX, and they're hiding something in there. I think the torment is just that Kane is keeping them here in the digital circus and doesn't ever let them go. That is torment, isn't it?
Saying that Ragatha's hair looks like licorice in front of
Yeah,
a monster
it's true,
that
it's
eats
true, but
people
that's just
made
the
out
kind
of candy. He doesn't even bother to show up for Kaufmo's funeral, and he gets
That
very
is true.
unhappy when
He was
bad guys seem to
also
die, like when the
conspicuously
Fudge is seemingly
missing.
killed in the Candy Kingdom.
I'm
Yeah.
so unbelievably disappointed right now.
He even leaves the kingdom gates open for the fudge so he can murder the candy citizens. I could go on and on and on, but you get it. A rogue AI that torments others lines up way more with JAX because even if he isn't the bad guy of the show, he's definitely a bad guy. On her Tumblr, Gooseworks has gone into great detail about how despicable JAX is.
Right.
He's morally the worst character in the show.
And I agree.
When a fan said that they hoped that JAX would get worse, she said that you're probably going to enjoy some of the things we have planned, and then later reiterated that he will become much worse, which I would say is accurate given how mean and cruel we see him being.
And I said that when I watched it.
Perhaps
he felt
most
meaner.
important for us here today, when asked if JAX was just a jerk or an anti-hero, Gooseworks explains that there's absolutely nothing heroic about him.
So he's
Would
just
that
a
be
jerk.
because he's actually the villain here? Yeah.
No, because he's just a jerk.
They are positioning
They
JAX
said
to be the true
no.
villain of this show.
The choices were anti-hero or just a jerk. There's nothing heroic about him. Means he's just a jerk. Doesn't mean that he's a villain.
The villain
That's not
here?
what they meant.
Friends, clearly. They are positioning JAX to be the true villain of this show.
No, they're not.
Not Kane.
No, they're
And
not.
The biggest thing that clinched this for me, that convinced me that JAX was going to be the big bad who would break the system, believe it or not, it was the merch. Yeah, JAX has been positioned as a major character for Glitch through their
it's because he's
merchandising
so
since the
popular.
very
People
beginning.
love to hate
When the
him.
pilot for the amazing digital circus first aired, tell me, what two characters do you think they made plushies out of? That
Because they
had
were the
ready
most
for you to buy
popular, not
immediately as
because of the
episode
plot.
ended? It was Pomni.
They were the
and
ones that would
JAX.
sell the
Now,
most.
Pomni makes total sense. She is the main character
Yeah, but
after
he
all.
was the
But
most
why
popular
JAX
one.
and not
All you have to do
someone
is go to
like Kane,
Akinator and
who
you
is the
know.
other poster character for the series.
Yeah,
who
but
is
he wasn't as
arguably
popular.
the main antagonist. They position JAX to be just
No,
as
he's just the
important
one that
as
sells
Pomni
the
with
most.
these plushes. And that isn't even the biggest hint we get through Glitch's merchandise. See, all of the main characters for the
That's
amazing
not why
digital
you make
circus now
merch.
have enamel pins over on Glitch's store.
Uh-huh.
And the card back for each of them has them in either the character's room or an environment directly connected to the character. Like Pomni is in her bedroom, as is Gangle, Zooble, and Ragatha. Kinger is in his pillow fort from episode 1, while Kane and Bubble are on the circus stage. But where do you think that they put JAX? In his bedroom, like the others? In the main circus floor? Hiding somewhere?
I don't know.
Breaking into
Actually, I
someone
haven't
else's room? Nope. Unlike the others, he's just outside of his bedroom, his nameplate broken and letters on the floor. But most importantly, the texture on the back of the card has been ripped, revealing the glitchy void underneath. Not even Kane, the ringleader for the circus who creates and controls all of the levels
kind
of
of
this
interesting,
world,
but I'm
is shown
still
here in the void.
not buying
His
he's an
pin
AI.
is still
Maybe he's a
contained
human
within
who's
the
gonna
circus,
break
but
out
JAX
into the
is
void.
breaking apart from it, tearing it down. Why would they add this detail only to JAX's pin if they weren't trying to tell us
Because
that
the
there's
human
something
that's gonna
deeper
break it.
going
He's not
on
an
with this
AI. He's
character?
not an
That
AI.
just underneath the surface, he's glitchy and robotic and computer generated, just like the void. The evidence speaks for itself. Someone in this cast is definitely an AI, and JAX is the perfect candidate. He's weird, he's
don't
different
think
from the
so.
other characters, and even his merch has set him apart. So I'm calling it here. Don't be surprised when he's revealed to be the big bad AI at the end of this series.
All right.
But that being said, JAX wasn't
I will
the only
come
contender
back
I
to
had
this
in
if
mind
you
while
end up being
writing this
right.
video.
I will
There's
come
actually a
back
lot
and
of
admit
evidence
it and
pointing
eat
towards
crow.
Pomni being an NPC
I just-
too, which we will be
no.
exploring very soon.
What?
Yeah, we'll be doing another episode exploring the possibility that Pomni is actually a secret AI NPC in the near future. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that episode when it hits. But until
I
then,
just feel
as
like they're
always,
going the
remember
complete
that it's
wrong
all just
direction
a
with
theory.
this.
A film theory.
Okay, but I don't think I agree with it, especially with Pomni. Like, she feels human. She has the human experience. And even with Gummy Goo, she lends that empathy that can only come from a human to an AI. They can't be. Again, if you're right, I will come back and say you were right. But I think you're wrong.